The movie opens not on Earth, but on the homeworld of the alien species known as the Yautja, the Predators. Among them is a young predator named Dek, played by Demetrius Schuster-Kalowamatangi. Dek is marginalized within his own clan. Because of his comparatively small size and youth, he's considered weak, a runt, unworthy of the clan's respect or approval. His father, the clan patriarch Jor, outright rejects him, believing him unfit to uphold their brutal warrior code. Dek's only hope of redemption and survival lies in a rite of passage. He must travel to a remote, deadly planet known as Jenna, a world of savage ecosystems, alien fauna, and lethal terrain, to hunt the most fearsome, supposedly unkillable creature ever encountered by Yautja warriors, a monster known as Kalisk. If he succeeds, if he kills the Kalisk and brings back its head and spine, he can prove his worth and gain a place among the hunters. Spurred by grief, his older brother tried to spare him from execution and was killed for it. Dek boards a spaceship alone and heads toward Jenna, determined to survive this hunt, avenge his brother, and challenge his father's verdict. When Dek arrives on Jenna, nothing is as expected. The moment his ship crash lands, after colliding with debris orbiting the planet, he emerges into a hostile world. Razor-sharp flora, vicious fauna, toxic ecology, everything on this planet seems bent on killing him. His weapons and Yautja skills matter little in this alien wilderness. The first part of the movie turns into a brutal survival odyssey almost reminiscent of a sci-fi Robinson Crusoe or Wolf of the Wilds story. Dek fends off oversized insects, aggressive alien beasts, poisonous plants, and violent weather. The planet itself becomes a character, living, predatory, indifferent. The cinematography and world-building strongly emphasize how truly alien and unforgiving Jenna is. Just when Dek seems overwhelmed, he discovers he's not completely alone. He encounters Thaya, played by Elle Fanning, a severely damaged android, a synthetic built by the megacorporation Weyland-Yutani, linking Predator and alien lore, who tells him she, too, came to Jenna on a mission to hunt the Kalisk for enterprise profit. Her landing party was destroyed, her legs ripped from her, and she's surviving on sheer will. Thaya proposes an uneasy alliance. She knows the terrain, the hazards, and some of the secrets of Jenna. Dek needs guidance. Together, they stand a better chance. Thus begins a strange, uneasy buddy dynamic, predator and android, scavenger and toolmaker, with the occasional lighthearted, dark-humored exchanges. This bond becomes central to the emotional core of the film, reframing what a predator film can be, not just a man versus alien horror, but a character-driven redemption story. As Dek and Thaya journey inward, toward the Kalisk, the film expands not just outward, into the alien ecology, but inward, into predator culture and personal identity. Reviews highlight how Badlands explores the Yautja tribal code, their prejudices, hierarchies, values of strength, and harsh definitions of worthiness. The Yautja language, lore, and rituals are given weight, becoming more than background, integral elements shaping Dek's motivations and conflicts. The film asks, what does honor mean when tradition demands cruelty? What does strength mean when survival requires empathy? Through Thaya's synthetic perspective, logical, curious, questioning, Dek begins to question his clan's dogma, considering values like trust, mercy, and cooperation. These themes echo classic outsider becomes hero narratives, but recalibrated for predator sensibilities. Together, Dek and Thaya trek through deadly territories, razor-grass fields, alien swamps, cavernous jungles. Along the way they rescue a strange alien pet, a small, large-eyed, simian-faced creature Thaya names Bud. Bud becomes a kind of emotional anchor, a silent witness to their journey. The fragile life beneath the brutal ecosystem underscores the film's quietly anti-predator undertones. Encounters with hostile wildlife and environmental traps bring Dek and Thaya closer together, forcing them to trust each other's strengths. Dek still struggles with his warrior's pride. He initially resents depending on help, especially from a tool, but gradually realizes that the planet, the hunt, and the Kalisk demand more than brute strength alone. Midway through the film, after multiple narrow escapes and near kills, Dek begins to evolve. Scenes show him hesitating before killing weaker creatures, sparing weak life, even showing compassion toward Bud, a significant departure from the traditional predator ethos. That internal struggle between duty, tribal code, and newfound empathy becomes the emotional core of the movie. Eventually, Dek and Thaya arrive at the lair of the legendary monster, the Kalisk, a towering, heavily armored, many-limbed creature that embodies everything a predator, or a horror fan, fears. The Kalisk is built to survive, to dominate. It stood undefeated for unknown decades, slaying every challenge. Deck's mission, the reason he risked exile, death, and a foreign death planet, is to kill this beast and reclaim honor. What follows is a brutal, spectacular showdown. The film shifts into full-scale action horror mode with visceral fights, inventive weaponry, traps built from alien flora, and sequences that test every bit of Deck and Thias' alliance. The battle isn't just physical, it's ideological, emotional. Deck must choose whether to rely purely on predator brutality or accept Thias' different approach, balancing mercy and strategy against savagery. In the climax, after a long, brutal fight that leaves both allies and enemies wounded, Deck defeats the Kalisk. He decapitates it, taking the trophy, its head and spine, but the victory is bittersweet. The planet, the hunt, and the chase leave scars on him, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Resolution and legacy, a predator's story rewritten. In the final moments of the film, Deck returns to his clan's home world carrying the Kalisk's trophy. But he's no longer the submissive runt. He challenges the old ways, not just with a kill, but with a changed heart. His alliance with Thaya, and by extension, compassion, empathy, and cooperation, stands in defiance of the traditional Yautja code. The film ends with a sense of bittersweet victory. Deck has proved his worth, but the cost, his innocence, his pride, his understanding of strength, is forever changed. Critics generally praise the film for this bold reimagining. They note that by making a predator the hero instead of the villain, and by blending brutal action with emotional and ethical depth, Badlands transforms one of cinema's most iconic monsters into someone audiences can root for. Reviewers applaud its visuals, world-building, fresh approach to the predator mythos, and strong performances, especially from Elle Fanning as Thaya. At the same time, the film retains the core predator DNA, violence, danger, alien horror. The planet Jenna remains a savage, hostile environment, and the monster hunting sequences are as visceral and tense as fans expect, just with a twist in allegiance. Why Predator, Badlands works, and what's different? Perspective shift. For the first time, the predator, Yautja, is the main character, giving the audience a view into predator culture and psyche. Blend of horror, sci-fi, and emotional journey, the film balances visceral alien horror action with a survival story and a character arc about honor, identity, and growth. World building and design, Planet Jenna, its flora/fauna, the Yautja language and tribal code all support a believable, harsh, but vivid universe. A surprising emotional center, the relationship between Deck and Thaya, plus their alien pet Bud, becomes the heart of the film, giving weight beyond gore and spectacle. That said, Badlands is also more reflective than some earlier entries. It asks big questions. What does strength actually mean? Is honoring tradition always right? Can mercy be a strength? It doesn't offer easy answers, but the journey forces both Deck and the audience to consider that monsters, like all beings, might be more complex than their claws and weapons suggest.